Homeless children have been flocking to city centers and main train stations. Some of them don't know their names, their birth dates, or even where they came from. Nowhere is the problem more acute than in Bucharest. He stands before the camera, calls himself Osman Pepsi Elvis, and claims to be 18 years old. Without so much as a whisker on his cheek, he is on his own. I used to live with other orphans in Norway where we spoke English, he says, but we didn't have the right papers, so they sent us back. Elvis tells so many tales that it's difficult to know where fantasy ends and reality begins. But a few things are clear. He is homeless, parentless, and he sniffs glue, a habit that destroys brain cells while soothing the pain of the truth. When I sniff glue, I don't feel hungry, he told us, and I can sleep and dream in bright colors. Elvis is one of an estimated 100,000 street children in Romania. Some live here at the main train station in Bucharest. They beg, steal, and sell themselves. Both culprit and victim, they are struggling for survival in a country that is barely surviving itself. I don't like the children, says this woman. They are young, but what are they doing with their lives? They are children that no God in the world wants. They are the offspring of the expansionist politics of former dictator Nicolae Ceausescu, who banned birth control and abortion. A larger population, he argued, would be the engine for a greater Romania. But since the revolution of 1989, the number of street children has grown along with the economic crisis. This is one of the few shelters for the homeless. Aid workers here have no illusions about the scope of their efforts. It's a shame, says the director, but we can only take a limited number of children, 150 perhaps, no more. Yet even the smallest contribution can change lives. This is a case in point. The international aid organization Caritas is building a farm here 50 miles north of Bucharest for homeless children. The idea is to help street kids become self-sufficient by creating their very own farming community. Less than 2 years ago, these teenagers lived like Elvis, sniffing glue and sleeping on the streets. Now they are sitting down to lunch in a home they built with their own hands. Can you show us around a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
23-year-old Jonathan Edgar is an aid worker who has been living on the farm since groundbreaking began in the summer of '92. What is the purpose of creating these houses for the children?
To develop their social skills primarily, and to provide an atmosphere of normality, structure, safety, which I feel will also develop their educational skills as well.
So far, 10 houses, a school, metal and woodworking shops, a bakery, and several outbuildings have appeared on the drawing boards. 2 architects live on site and are incorporating the children's input into their plans as they go along.
This is an important idea to involve the children and to discover together with them the daily world which is surrounding us.
Together, the aid workers and their charges appear to be creating an environment and building relationships that work. Is it possible to save these children?
Yeah, definitely it's possible. We had a child come, used to sit and rock all day and bang his head against the wall and just beat a drum. He's developed into a very normal young man. He has a great interest in building, and so we started projects with him to build rooms, to build his own little house. He's now building a chapel.
Julian is indeed building a chapel, using rocks, lime, and water, all natural substances easily found in this area. He says, when I leave the farm, I want to be a construction worker. The project has also turned out its own electronics specialist. Using wire and other odds and ends found in the fields and abandoned houses, Viti created a functioning telephone system, which he hopes will eventually connect all 10 farmhouses. Communication is important, says Viti, who recently began studying engineering. Yet despite Viti's efforts, 17-year-old David would rather let his violin do the talking. He feels out of place on the farm, says he hates Romania, and dreams of studying at a music conservatory. Still, the children's farm has given him the opportunity to concentrate on the violin instead of survival. And, like the others, develop dreams of a future out of a shattered past. Caritas would like to finish the project by August of next year. At that time, it hopes to have place for more than 100 street children and a self-sufficient farm.